Welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and today we got this 86 Grand National in here, and we need to do a tool review. So follow me along through the intro, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so we need to do a tool review video. So our friends over at Kaiweets sent us this brake fluid tester right here, and an articulating Borescope right here. I've been playing with these a little bit in the background, but the reason why we're bringing you the video today is I've got this 86 Grand National in the shop and doing a little poking around on it. It's a stage 2 block, and it's got a set of aluminum GN1 heads, but we don't know anything about the bottom end of the motor or what kind of pistons or anything that's done to it. So we're going to use the Borescope to explore around this motor a little bit. We'll test this brake fluid and this electronic booster setup, see if we can determine how long that's going to last, and then we'll go from there. So as you can see, the brake fluid in this car is pretty poor condition. So what you're going to do, you're going to turn this unit on by pressing this power button here. You can select what brake fluid between dot 3, dot 4, and dot 5 by hitting the S button down here, which is for selection. So it's pretty easy to use. We're just going to take this little feller and just immerse the contacts down here in the fluid, and I hit the wrong button. We'll get it down here on dot 3, and it looks like we have about 24% of moisture contamination in the brake fluid. As you can tell by the color, it needs to be flushed out anyway, especially on these older units, especially like this accumulator and stuff. Dirty brake fluid, guys, will damage these kind of units, and they're very expensive to replace. So you want to make sure your brake fluid's in good shape, and this little tool right here will help you get took care of. But this super simple little unit, it'll also measure moisture and oil. I've checked it against some other things, and even straight water. It seems to be fairly accurate, but it could be a useful tool to have in your toolbox. So make sure you check it out. Like I said, that's our part number right there. So let's get into the fun stuff here. What we have here is KBA01. It comes in this nice little case. Right here, it's kind of a soft case. What we have is the Borescope right here. It comes with a charger, charging cord to USB. It comes with these little attachments. Got a little mirror here on one, a hook on the other. It's a pretty nice little piece. And oscillates like that. It also gives you the current temperature of whatever you're videoing or looking at. You can also video with this button right here, or take a photo inside the motor. As you can see, this picture is super clear. So let's start exploring around inside the motor. But pretty impressed with the Borescope myself. This thing, compared to the Snap-on we got, is night and day. I've also got one, what Nissan uses in their GTR kits. It don't have as good of a picture as this one, and it's very inexpensive. These things are like 120 bucks. So let's flip it around. I'll show you what we got. So our test subject here is a stage 2 block, which, if anybody is not familiar, the Grand Nationals have a 109 block, and stage 2 is what you used to see in your Bush series cars. So You got a bunch of nice stuff in here. So I anticipate somebody probably put some nice stuff down here in the bottom end. So with the oscillating Borescope here, we can get down in here and we can see the camshaft, we can see the lifter bores. We can rotate it around as we need in here. But what I would like to do is get down in here so we can see what we got. And you can see we have an aftermarket H-beam rod down here. You can see our crankshaft. You can see our rods down in here. So we get an aftermarket H-beam rod. It looks like we have an aftermarket crankshaft. So the camshaft and everything looks good in it, which I didn't expect no less. And when I say this thing oscillates, that's all controlled by this little thumb wheel right here. You can move this camera around. It works pretty well. It'll rotate a complete 180. You see my thumb right there is actually holding this. And you can even see the direct cracks of my skin. So let's move over to the spark plug hole. Let's see what we see down in there. So it looks at one time that somebody spent quite a bit of money in this motor. With this, we can look down here at the piston and see it has quite a bit of carbon on it. Down here, you see carbon buildup on the piston. I don't know if the camera picks it up real good, but it is super, super clear in here. You can even see where the ring gaps are in the piston. Let's see if I can do a complete 180 right here. You can see where they come up in the camera hole or in the spark plug hole here. We can see the bottom of the valves and everything. And if we wanted to take a picture, all we gotta do is press this red button and it saved picture. Just like that, we went down in there. But say you want to put it in a tight hole, like this oil return hole here in the head. You can actually see the grain details and how the head gasket is in that head down to the oil return that runs down there into the lifter valley. But pretty impressive, especially at the price point for this camera, how clear it is. And there's many uses for a Borescope like this. Like this car, I don't know what the inside of the tank looks like, so let's run this down in there and see if we can have a look. We can get down here in the filler neck, and as you can see, we can see all the way down here till we get to the baffle in the tank. And we can see that the tank has, you can see the rust inside the tank in here. And a lot of that's due to this car sitting condensation and moisture from the hot and cold, but you can see it really, really clearly on the camera. You can also see the fuel. It's got a bright red color. This car previously had C16 in it. And the fuel is sour in it. But it looks like the floor of our tank. And we can see that detail real well in here. I don't know if you can. But I can see the detail of the trunk on the gas tank floor really well. And it looks good and clean. So if we want to take a picture, we just hit that button right there. Or you can hold it. And if we want to go back in there and look at this stuff, let me get this thing out of the tank. So all in all, it's a pretty impressive unit. You can go back in here and you can view your pictures that you took. I don't know if you can see it right there. But these pictures are super, super clear. You can even see the speckles and the rust on the screen. But this thing has a super, super long cord. It's about 1.5 meters. I don't know what that equates in feet, but it's pretty darn long. And like I said, your end oscillates around just like this. And you do have the ability, when you go down in a bore, to turn this back up, or you can look up at the top. So at the price point, it's definitely worth having in your toolbox. I'm pretty impressed with it, especially compared to Snap-on. So I just want to show y'all the difference. I got our Snap-on right here. You can see the difference in the quality right there. But just to be fair in comparisons here, I am going to put this down in this cylinder with this piston. And then I'll bring y'all in a little closer. Try to get this Snap-on as bright as it'll go. See if I can't get it down in there with this one. And it won't go down there at the same time. So you can see the clarity right there of this one. Let me pull it out and get the Snap-on down in there. The Snap-on itself is going to be even harder to get down in the cylinder because we don't have the options of oscillating it. So that means we're going to have to sit here and mess around and kind of fight with things until we can get it down here in the bore. And I'll kind of bring this in. It'll kind of give you an idea of what you got, but it looks like an oily moon surface. You can't really see none of that clarity in there. And I know the screen's a little dirty, but I come in here and I cleaned off the center here for y'all. That way you can see, but there's absolutely no comparison between the camera quality of that one versus this one. And it's no way a dig against the Snap-on Borescope, because it has served well for many years. But the quality has never been there with it. It's kind of a pain to get down in things. The only advantage it has over this one is the camera's a little bit smaller, so you get a little tighter place. But then again, you don't have clarity where you can see. And a lot of times, if you're running a Borescope down something, you are looking for damage. So you want the clearest picture you can. You want to be able to move around inside that cylinder. That way you can see anything that may be damaged. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this piece. I have been using it around here a little bit, so it's not like I just pulled out the package and started messing with it and giving you an unbiased review. I've actually used this in a few different scenarios at this point, and I've been impressed with the quality. And everybody's come by the shop, I've showed it to them, and they've been impressed too. But for like $120 price point, guys, you cannot go wrong with this Borescope. So make sure you check them out. Normally, this would be the point where I tell you they sent me a discount code, but they actually didn't. They wanted the video done first before they sent me a discount code for you guys. So if they send me one, it'll be down in the description below. So along with the link to the product itself. So make sure you check it out. And I know some people are going to say, well, you didn't go over all the details about it. Right here's what you got. And I'm also sure that I'll have some of you guys jump down there that are Snap-on diehards and try to defend Snap-on in this case. But you can't deny that as little as you're going to use a Borescope, that something like this won't last you for many, many years. And you also can't deny the cost or the clarity of the image, especially in dark, tight areas like inside this engine. Like I said, guys, that's about all the inspection I can do with the Borescope on this car right now. I've got to fix it. And that's what I was doing today. I thought it would just be a good way to show y'all these two products, especially on a car like this that we didn't really know anything about, or, you know, how long it's sat at this point. This car has been together for a very long time. It's a pretty cool little Grand National, and I think I'll take a moment now to kind of show y'all that. But make sure you check out those products. Like I said, I don't even make these videos unless I've used the product for a little while, and I've been impressed with it. Otherwise than that, I just wouldn't make a video or even tell y'all guys about it. But the little Borescope, I like it. It's a nice piece. And at the price point, it's about where anybody can afford, especially if you need one in that situation. $120 nowadays is like 20 bucks 20 years ago. And like I said, as little as you're going to use one of these, this thing will last 4 years. So let's flip around and I'll show you the car. So it don't look like much. It's missing the bumper fillers. They're actually in the trunk. The bumpers are outside out here. All that stuff needs to be put back on. But what we have here is a nice and straight 1986 Grand National. It is a solid roof car, so no moon roof or T-tops. Like I said, it's a good straight car. We'll call it a patina car because you can see some of the primer and stuff showing through. It's missing a few things and stuff like that, but it's really, really a nice, honest car that somebody at one time spent a ton of money in. It was brought here to the shop, just kind of try to bring it back to life. It's got a bunch of aftermarket suspension stuff on it in the rear. It's got some nice, decent stuff on the insides. It's got a turbo wriggle steering wheel somebody's put in it, but you know, door panels and the carpet. And other than this driver's side seat seams, this set of seat covers would go a long ways, but even the dash is super nice in it. It would make a real nice car real easy. But when we were looking this thing over, it's got some old school mods like the old Ram Air kit. And it had 7th injector. Got an older precision turbo right there, which is a nice piece. Got an old set of headers on it. Got the Gen 1 ported heads. Or CNC ported heads, it looks like. It's got a comp roller cam in it. Link bar lifters, and that's why it's in my shop. The car actually still runs. It just didn't run well, and the motor was super noisy. So I brought it in here to put some lifters in it. That's what I was currently doing, but I said to bring you all that video done review. But some real cool old school mods. It's got an old ATR exhaust and downpipe, external wastegate, electric fan, upgrade aluminum radiator, set of Champion rockers. The intake's been very well ported in here also. It's got a bigger set of injectors, Kenny Bell throttle body and upper panel for the intake. And to beat all, it's actually a stage 2 block. It's got underdrive pulleys, AC delete, and some other nice little things that's been added to it over the years. But what's real impressive is the body of this car. This car would be a super easy paint job, other than a little peeling up around the roof. It does need a set of tires. Center caps are in the trunk. But not a bad car to build overall. And at the price point he purchased this car at, I would have bought it too. So, one thing I did miss, and did miss talking about it. It does have a front mount intercooler and stuff on it. Oil filter relocation. Some other things like that. But I figured couldn't make this video without at least talking about the car a little bit. I do like Turbo Buick stuff very well, as much as I do Ford stuff. These are very fiddly cars, and that's why it's here. It's one of the things that keeps the lights on around here. So, that said, guys, it's probably about time to cut this video in the end. So, if you like this kind of content, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends. I look forward to your comments down below. If you're a new viewer and not a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out some of the other playlists on my channel. There is other content like classic car stuff and repair videos along that lines of things. If you are a subscriber, I greatly appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all at the next video. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.